Hello, everybody. It's good to be home. Good to be back. Good to have you back in the Capitol. Welcome back. MEC Day is always a real highlight for all of us. And I am time limited, so do we have our first slide in the back? Take a look here. This is the structure of your state government. This is how we function today. There are approximately 204 agency boards and commissions in the state of Mississippi. The two blocks, the real small blocks that you see there, are where Governor Bryant has his 8 or 9 groups that report to him. You'll also see my group, Stacy's, Lynn's, Mike's, the other small block there of elected public officials. The big L-shaped one that you can hardly read all of the 204 are agency boards and commissions in the state of Mississippi. Of those agency boards and commissions in the state of Mississippi, only about 57 have removal. So if you're appointed to an agency board and commission, it's a good thing because you can't be removed in Mississippi. About 3/4 of you can't, under any kind of circumstance. I want each of you to think about your own board of directors and how the stockholders come in every year and elect or don't elect, and how you rotate people on and off your board. Many of y'all are CEOs, of course, so it'd be nice if you were elected for life, but most of you have to answer to the stockholders. In Mississippi, when Bill Elaine fought with the legislature in 1983, he won the case that said Mississippi legislators could not be on boards and commissions. It was a constitutional conflict. From that, the next 30 years, we have created what you see here today. Agency boards and commissions run about 2/3 of every dollar spent in the state of Mississippi. They are the 4th branch of government. Most other governments only have 3, and we're blessed to have a 4th after the structure that evolved from the Elaine case. You wouldn't run a lemonade stand like this, and you wouldn't run your company like this. When we come forth, and you see the governor released yesterday some structural processes that he wants to do going forward. When you look at that, it'll be critical that MEC becomes part of the solution of that. Each of you have gone through a management structure. You know how things are going to work. We have limited dollars. We need to give Carrie more dollars for education. We need to function well as a government. We need to be streamlined, and we need to serve people across the board like y'all quickly and effectively. Second slide, please, ma'am. This is Mississippi's new business formations, and as you can see, this is some information that we want to start providing to you, and we are providing to you on an annual basis. We'll be redoing our website to show others, but you can see the dip in 2008 and 9 when LLCs started to fall in the number of formations. They fell to about 8,000 a year in Mississippi. Mississippi now, after we redid the LLC law, we have about 80,000 LLCs and about 47,000 corporations. When we redid the LLC law 3 years ago now, we dropped all the way to 40,000 LLCs. Mississippi has the lowest filing fees in the country. We've charged 0 for opening an LLC. Over 50% of the people who work in Mississippi work for a small business. That's why it's really important to hold our fees down, and it's really important for you to see the growth pattern. This comes when you see LLCs being formed in our state. You see small businesses being formed. You see innovative people hiring other employees. It's a good harbinger of where we're going and how the state is structured. The gold ones are corporations. As you can see, they're almost flat in our state over the last 5 years. Part of what you'll see on our new website is information that you can use, data that you can use, and we'll be going through the website again, issuing a new website that'll show more and more information like this for businesses to be able to use. It'll include how much the price of timber is. We're selling off 16 section land. Our 16 section revenues are up to 89 million this year. They were 50 million when we started. You'll see all kinds of information like that put out for you to use, and we want you to use them. Legislative proposals this year, Blake mentioned one, Scott mentioned another. We are pushing again our headquarters bill. When we did all of the studies on headquarters, we discovered, of course, that the biggest gap that we have in our incentive programs coming to Mississippi headquarters or the ability to move the employees here. Tennessee and a number of other states have that ability, so they are, in fact, subsidizing some of the moving cost. Your headquarters bill and your relocation bill and the expansion of current headquarters that are located in the state will again be pushed in the legislature. I'm very hopeful. We got it out of the House last year and it failed in the Senate. We'll have an employee pass-through. If you've got tax credits, you can give them to your employees as a bonus or cut their taxes for Mississippi. You'll see several innovative things like that coming out of our legislative agenda this year. One other thing that doesn't sound as interesting, we're pushing a uniform trust code this year. A uniform trust code is one that addresses things like perpetuity, asset protection trust, other issues that have been addressed in other states. Mississippi's trust assets grew about 3%. Tennessee put this in effect 3 years ago. Theirs grew 58%. To put it in perspective, we have $16 billion under trust management in Mississippi, and states like South Dakota have $120 billion. So we really are behind in creating an atmosphere here where people will leave their capital in our banks to be invested and lent to you. It's a big step to make sure that we can retain capital and can be competitive with Tennessee and the other states that have done the Uniform Trust Code. I'd encourage you to watch that. It's very important to business and it's very important to individuals and to our banking operations. We have a HERO Act that will allow people to vote. If you go off, if Haley sends his people off to New Jersey like he did the last time, we want them to be able to cast their ballot. So you'll see a HERO Act as well. Last thing I want to touch on briefly and make sure I'm on time, voter ID. As you know, we have a voter ID and it's coming out on June the 3rd. I started a website, so you can go on there and look up any questions. Our website works. It was done by the employees of the Secretary of State's office at no additional cost, which I think puts me a little bit over $1 billion ahead of Kathleen Sebelius. That being said, go to our website. MDOT has been wonderful. We now will pick you up if you can't go to the circuit clerk's office. 2 weeks ago, I went all over the state of Mississippi. We installed cameras in every courthouse, 92 of them. They also have the capability of printing and showing issuing your voter ID there. If you can't get there, we'll pick you up for free and take you there. If you don't know anything other than your date of birth and your mother's maiden name, we'll check your birth certificate for free at every courthouse in the state of Mississippi. We have taken great lengths to make sure that we are constitutional, and this chapter of voting history in Mississippi will be closed after June the 3rd. And 10 years from now, most people won't ever know this. Thank you. In February, the governor will be announcing a registration month. Not only are we not restricting the voting by issuing voter IDs, we want to expand the number of people in their 300,000 Mississippians who are eligible to vote who have not registered to vote. We're going to ask them to register to vote. We're going to push out and make sure we have everybody registered to vote and everybody has an ID by June the 3rd.